Guys, you were warned. What are you doing? Ninth, call the police. Do not worry.
Do not care.
Can you not film me?
He's not filming you. He's filming me in a public place.
Japan is moving fast.
This is a shop parking lot, not a drifting area.
I see you are so confident in your glasses.
Let's go, shall we?
Tomorrow. Guys, the situation is as follows. In order to defeat a fast motorcycle, such project cars must ride with a tuner. So I took my friend, Oleg Zaitsev, who will pump this car for me, because I drive in normal times only on 1,000 horsepower. And now my friend Oleg will do wonderful manipulations in order for us to feel very confident, just very confident. Remember this phrase. Very confident. Well, what will be the boost? 2 and 2 kg boost, and it was 1 and 9 kilograms. Well, let's try 2 and 2. Oleg, what gear are 2 and 2 in? Because we already had it all. The first 1.5, the second 1 and 7, from the third 2 and 2, I'm going to write logs. Anyway, guys, that's what custom tuning and tuners are for. We tuned the car today at 2.5 pounds. I think that's roughly 1,200 plus horsepower. That's about 1,200 horsepower total. Let's go.
Guys, you were warned. What are you doing? Ninth, call the police. Snapshots, cameras. This is a parking lot for the store's cars, not a drifting and filming area. You can't spin around here.
Oh, we can't? Sorry, we won't do it again. Do not care.
What's going on?
Well, your guys, I guess.
These are not ours. What is this drift, guys? They will kick us out. We are here to drink cocoa.
What are these lines for? You paint them black.
They are difficult.
It's not allowed to shoot video here, you understand? Cut out the camera. You behave childish.
What? I didn't drift. Don't get old, bro. What's going on?
Can you not film me?
But he doesn't take pictures of you, he takes pictures of me in a public place. Why are you attacking me? Everything is fine. My car is out, old BMW. So, guys, we continue shooting our live video. I love such videos when everything is live, everything is filmed almost in one take. Jigsaw boy in the frame, this person on our channel represents the moto theme. Yura, tell us who you prepared for us today, and it seems to me that the opponents are rather weak.
Sergey, do you know that very few motorcyclists want to ride with you? I put up a post the week before and collected about 10 motorcycles for you. The first one is a Yamaha R1 2006 year. It has about 185 horsepower.
It's a fast bike. How much does it go from 100 to 200?
With a good pilot, I think it's 4 and 2, 4 and 3.
Fast time.
Enough, yeah. Look here.
Wait, we have a pink Diavel in the frame.
In short, this is not Diablo. He is joking with me. This is JSR 600. He just came to stand, show off his pink steering wheel. I think that we will move on.
Он просто приехал постоять красивым рулем, посветить розовым. Я думаю, что мы пойдем дальше.
It's a Honda CBR 1000XX, quite an old bike, but it was once one of the fastest bikes in the world, setting a top speed of around 300.
Many will say that you brought some old motorcycles. Do you have something fresh?
It's MT-09, we just skip it.
We are not missing. I'll explain why. The pilot on this particular bike humiliated me on my Audi R8, and today I want to show you the difference, how much faster BMW than was Audi R8.
This is Honda 929, there's about 150 horsepower, also quite an old bike, but I think they'll compete side by side. Next we have Kawasaki ZXR14. Here's a liter 400 motor. It's a 200 horse sport tourist. It's on a little tuning, exhaust, some more suspension, zero filter. Should go fast. This is our Suzuki GSR K7K8, 2007-2008 year. It's got 185 horses from the factory, a liter motor, reliable, Japan, goes fast.
185 лошадей, литровый мотор, надежный, Япония, ебашит.
Hello everyone, Vlados is with you, and I am the person who almost always stays behind the scenes. And you rarely see me, but now is not about that. Why I am here, and not Sergey, I will tell you now. I never understood people who drive hatchbacks, these Skoda Fabia, Golf, a third. I didn't realize this until I drove around in loaded hot hatches. You will now see 3 of them on the screen. Here there will be 3 pictures. I'm currently considering buying one of these hot hatches for my own use. Write what you think this car is. Our partners are the Global Auto Import. I have already called the guys, roughly announced to them the parameters of the car, and what I need. Next season I will come out and appear in Sergey's videos more often. Don't forget, Global Auto Import, cars from USA, cars from Europe, links are all in the description.
Please tell me, if I overtake all these motorcycles today, is there a motorcycle that will stand up for them?
Look, I didn't take my bike here on purpose to see how the races go. Maybe someone will overtake you, or maybe not. I have the same bike, the same GSR, just with modifications, and it has about 200 horsepower, so if you overtake everyone, of course, I will bring my GSR and we will definitely race with BMW.
Конечно же, я выкачу свой джиксер, и мы обязательно заедем с Бимером.
In order for Yura to bring his GSR, the stars must align, we must turn, move the planet off its axis, but we will try to do this tonight. Okay, stop talking, let's go to battle. Very confident. Faced with two 600 cubes, a total separation from him, total 900 cubic meters, but so far we are in the lead, but the motorcycle has already begun to struggle. Your predictions for 1 liter, what do you say?
I think that at the beginning they will overtake you. This is 100%. I think that the body and a half, then I think you will catch the grip, and at about 270-80 you will overtake. I think so.
The stakes are rising, guys, place your bets, and please subscribe, like, bell, again I will whine that there are not 100,000 of us. 1, 2, 3. Guys, the races are as juicy as possible. To be honest, we are ahead of one motorcycle without question, but the R1 fights with us quite strongly. We overtake this motorcycle, but already at 300 kilometers per hour, maybe a little less. Guys, our races are over, and you know, I expected something like this. Firstly, I want to summarize, such design and ultra-powerful cars should, of course, be driven with a tuner. Many thanks to Oleg Zaitsev for taking the time, coming and adding power to me. Let me remind you, I drove 2 1/10 kilograms before, it was about 1050 horsepower, or more precisely, 900 wheel power, it was supercharging 2 1/12 kilograms. Oleg Zaitsev arrived, and we added up to 2.5 kilograms. Of course, we received, approximately, about 1200 horsepower. That allowed me to easily deal with interesting cool motorcycles. As for the races, guys, 600 are not rivals, 750, 850, 900 and even sports tourists in 400 liters. The same thing, only sports leaders can compete with this car. And you know, it turned out to be an interesting and hot fight, but anyway, I catch up with all these motorcycles to a maximum of 270-80 kilometers per hour, so I'm waiting for interesting rivals. While we are confident in ourselves, we can add another 100 horsepower here, let me remind you, and, of course, remove the operator. The average time during our races was around 4 seconds. That's all for me. Serdjio was with you, let's go.
If you overtake everyone, of course, I will bring my GSR and we will definitely race with BMW. Well, Sergey. Yesterday you raced fast bikes. Are you ready to race with more serious vehicles today? I see you are so confident in your glasses.
Confident. I tore up a few of those bikes yesterday on this babe.
What do you think of my bike going a quarter in 10 seconds, and going from 100 to 200 in 4 seconds?
I do not believe.
And now we will check.
Let's check.
Well, Sergey, interesting?
This is madness. I'm ready. From the frame, we're moving on. Can I take I want to show people a real bull that came from Rovna. What the hell did you do?
For you to pay attention to me.
I noticed you 5 years ago. What do you say? Do you like it?
What about me?
So say, do you like it?
Do you like?
Well, yes, well, how do you like it, Sergey? Do you like? This will be for the race that was before this. You say, what is going on? What kind of people are these?
Sergey, do you like it?
Well, not really. Now I don't drive without a tuner anymore, so... I'm tired of these, damn it, someone's ass went naked.
How do you feel about my motorcycle going a quarter in 10 seconds, and going 100 and 200 in 4 seconds?
I do not believe.
And now we will check.
Let's check it out. It was okay, damn, it was okay, honestly.
I see, or you brazen in your glasses. I see, or you confident in glasses.
Yes.
And that's it?
Yes.
Let's do it again, yeah.
It was good too.
Come on one more time.
Damn like kids.
I see you are so brave with glasses.
Yes. Self-confident, bro, damn, well, not brave. I imagine how much shit is pouring on me, he already wants to go home, damn.
Wow, seriously, Serdjio shop.
Serdjio shop.
I try, I don't worry, I just try. I want the video to be great.
Hi everyone, this is Serdjio with you. We on our channel shot a video with Camaro, and you said in the comments that it is very weak, an atmospheric engine 3 and 6/10, 300 horsepower. In the comments you said, take off a normal American muscle car. And here we have a Camaro ZL1 on the channel for the whole 700 horsepower, meat. Guys, we are near this legendary Camaro 700 horsepower, its owner Volodya. Vova, hello.
Hi all.
I know Volodya, cam up, I've known Volodya for a few years now. This car is quite legendary in our country. First of all, I understand that there are 2 such cars, is that correct?
Yes, there are only 2.
And secondly, this car now has about 700 horsepower, and it used to have 850, but first things first. Vova, tell me about it.
We did absolutely everything on the car, increased the engine capacity, installed forged connecting rods, pistons, strengthened the gearbox to 900 plus forces, exhaust, intake, installed a water methanol supply system. There was also a nitrous oxide supply system. But, how to say, when we installed the water methanol system, the nitrous oxide had to be removed because it would already be very strong for this motor.
But I'm actually sure that it would be very strong, because with nitrous oxide, motors basically explode. Tell me, how much was the power on nitrous oxide? 850.
827 forces we saw on the stand.
What time is it now for this car to walk a quarter mile, and what time to go a quarter mile with the injection of wet nitrous oxide?
Well, now it goes 10 and 9/10 with water methanol. When there was no water methanol, there was nitrous oxide, it went 10 and 8/10.
Is such a risk justified by 1/10 of a second?
The risk is justified if the motor is normal. If the motor is already at the limit, and you put nitrous oxide, I think this should not be done, because you burn the motor.
Tell me, how much money did you buy this car for, and how much money did you invest in it?
I bought this car for $50,000 and invested about $30,000 to make it drive like a real American muscle car.
How a car should run. Guys, as we promised, there was a video about Camaro on our channel. It was the weakest Camaro, probably 3 6/10, an atmospheric engine, a car with 300 horsepower. Today we have rented one of the most powerful Camaro in Ukraine for you. I think if it had nitrous oxide injection, at its 827 horsepower, it would be the most powerful Camaro in our country. Is that right?
I think he's the most powerful as it is. Speaking of street class.
Look, I take it that you did the forging of the motor, right?
Of course.
What did you change on the engine?
I changed the camshaft, crankshaft, connecting rods, pistons, rings, liners. Well, that is, absolutely everything that can be changed there.
Motor potential 1,000 plus.
900 plus.
By the way, guys, here is the lower location of the camshaft. It is installed here alone, but quite expensive, as far as I know, right?
Well, yes, this camshaft cost me about $2,500 with delivery to Ukraine.
Quite a lot. I've heard that tuning on American cars, it's basically available. Is that true or not?
Yes, this is really true. Everything is available in America. It is generally considered very cheap. And if we take delivery, then this also justifies the money that you invest in an American car.
Americans don't charge for the brand, Americans charge for results, right?
Yes, it's 100%. They lay out maximum power for your money.
Yes. What's unusual and special about your car? Under the hood, is this tank standard or not?
No, this is tuning. This is compressor cooling. Additional radiators are large so that the compressor cools well. There is a magnetic suspension from the factory. It has 5 driving modes. These are 6-piston Brembo, also factory. They are in stock. Well, it is completely different from the usual Camaro.
How much does a car go 0 and 100 200?
0-100, now we measured, she drove in 3 3/10 of a second.
Rear-wheel drive?
On rear-wheel drive, yes. Well, here the wheels are correct, so we go. And 100 or 200 at the races yesterday she drove in 6 7/10 of a second.
Guys, 6 7/10 of a second is very fast. It's about like Turbo S last generation in the 991 body.
Her best time is 6 5/10 of a second. We had to weight the trunk a little, and put 100 kilograms of sand in there.
Vova, I know that you are from Lviv, Western Ukraine. There are not many fast cars in Western Ukraine. Are you bored there?
I would say yes, a little boring, because we constantly drive the same cars. But there are fast cars.
What kind of fast cars do you have there? Surprise me.
GTR fast, and Corvette fast, and Camaro fast. Everything is fast, you come and see.
You have some kind of super wheels. I know that you have been fond of drag racing for many years, and, as far as I understand, they are very correct. There are very narrow ones in front, I would call them bicycle wheels, such a bicycle tire, probably, the size is somewhere around 120 or 140.
145.
145. Rear is very wide.
305.
Tell me what kind of wheels and tires, and why are the front wheels so narrow?
Narrow in front, semi-slick in the back. They are called street class. This is the maximum that you can put here so that she rides in a street class.
By the way, yesterday you had a very powerful battle with our other hero. This is an Audi TT with 500 plus horsepower. And Volodya won by a very interesting factor. Audi TT was a little faster, but there was a temporary class, and you couldn't go faster than necessary. It had to be right on time. And, since Vova has been participating, as far as I know, for 4 years, but probably more, right? 4 years. In principle, he is a professional, he cheated a little, he knew what to do, and with the worst time he took the cup, took first place. I propose to move into the interior of the car and see what's there.
Well, in the cabin, we did absolutely everything. We altered the entire interior, absolutely everything, even the thresholds here in the skin. Everything is Alcantara, the roof, the steering wheel. We installed water methanol supply sensors to see We installed mixture sensors to see if water methanol is flowing or not. They put 13 music speakers, 4 amplifiers and an Android processor in here. Well, so that everything was according to feng shui. That is, the car is absolutely street.
By the way, I want to say that a few years ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago, the famous Transformers series came out, and there was this particular Camaro. Here is the same model, let's say, in the lead roles. Yes, and Volodya, I think after watching this movie, he bought himself a car. Well, I think he just liked the American car, it was specifically suitable, and he pasted it in this particular design, like from the movie, Transformers, similar, right? Even redesigned.
Improved.
In some ways, he was even cooler than in the movie. How many years did this story last?
Well, 4 years ago I bought this car, really because I loved the Transformers movie, and when I first saw the Camaro, it was probably a childhood dream for a long time, let's just say. And when there was a chance to buy this car, I bought it, and somewhere in the 17th year I met Galchinsky, the organizer of these races in Lvov. He carried out drifting there, he invited me to drag racing in Vinnytsia. And he said, well, you come, but I'm sorry if you are overtaken by Ziguli and so on. It hooked me, and I took my ZL1 and arrived in Vinnytsia. And what can I tell you? I then won the championship of Ukraine in 3 classes, that is, in the first race, in the second, and in the third race I was third. Of course, he was very surprised, but the car was then on nitrous oxide. She also drove fast. At that time, she was driving 11 6/10 of a second in rear-wheel drive, which I think was also very good at that time.
At that time, yes. I want to make such a small correction. Andrei Galchinsky and Vladimir Kazachok are practically 2 synonyms. They are always somewhere nearby. They have some kind of joint financial affairs. I don't believe he won fair. In fact, once Volodya and I even had a race. I was on an Audi R8 Stage 2, and he was on this Camaro. She was already on nitrous oxide then. He just destroyed me, and I couldn't catch up. I understand that then you just pressed this button. And he defeated me, took away from me some one unimportant cup, insignificant for me. I simply conceded to him. We hugged, shook hands, but I remember this forever.
And then you bought yourself 9FF, and beat them all, right?
Yes. By the way, guys, we were already planning to finish our review, and release Volodya to the finish line, but he went to his everyday car, here it is. He took out cups, I don't know if they are his cups or not. And now he will tell what he won here.
Confirmation that the cups are mine.
Yeah, tell me about it. Well, tell me what kind of cups.
The first cup is our first place for S-Pro, rear-wheel drive. Then the second cup we had, also first place in the class in time, and third place in the street class, rear-wheel drive. I just underestimated my opponent and let him get away at the start, and it turned out that I have not caught up with him.
I propose now to drive this car, see if it is tuning or not, because you are proving that this is a street car. Yes, we'll drive around a bit, shoot it from the outside, and then we'll see how you still drive on a straight line.
I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes
Well, here comes to the end of the review on this Unreal ZTL-1 Camaro, Volodya my friend from Lviv. This is exactly what real America should look like, vulgar, evil, and at least 700 strong. A lot of smoke, a lot of noise and not going anywhere. And with you was Serdjio and Dimitri. Such a positive dude, like a cool dude who says, you don't swear in the frame, he says, and, damn, I will say myself. You took priority for yourself. I think that, in principle, a lot of such can be printed on the printing industry, yes.
Damn, I mixed up the words. Before street.
No, let's not swear, please.
Volodya, I can say, judging by the fact that you won 3 whole cups last night, that you were the king of rear-wheel drive yesterday?
Yes, I think this car set records yesterday in rear-wheel drive.
Basically yes, that's why I think you're the best in rear-wheel drive.
Yes, the car is very fast in rear-wheel drive.
Doesn't fall for my jokes.
Hello everyone, this is Serdjio. And today we live in the era of plastic and high technology. Today we will plunge into the atmosphere of the 60s, when design prevailed, and marketers did not have such power over the creation of cars. Today we have a review of the Chevrolet Impala of the 60th year and we begin. Guys, I'm a little over 40, and in my life I have already rolled in many very different, exclusive, rare, powerful and expensive cars. I'm not a fan of such classics, but when I saw it for the first time, I realized that as a true car connoisseur, I have to pay attention to it. And you know, the more I am around this car, the more I like it. First of all, I want to show you a point. Guys, when you open the door, it's like an armored car door. It's not Geländewagen, it's not even S-Class, it's just a real, wide, massive cool door. Move on. This amount of chromium is now used only probably in yachts. Great abundance of metal, great abundance of chrome, great abundance of the whole car in general. The car is over 5 meters long. By the way, I want to show you such a moment, how practical these cars were. Firstly, it is unrealistically soft, look at how small the wheels are. Therefore, on these wheels, the car behaves very cool. The trunk does not open from the remote, it opens with such an old key. Now we will open, and you will be surprised. Look at its size. Guys, a minimum of 4 people will fit here. In the trunk, we see a cup by the way. The owner doesn't yet know that we're taking it out and showing it. Guys, this is the cup of 2013 years, the best car of the 60s. By the way, I want to draw your attention to this optics. Restylings on these cars in the 50s, 60s years were held every 2 years and even there were moments when it was once a year. In the 59th year there was a one-piece block headlight, in the 60th there were already 3 separate lights. This proves to us that there was a lot of money, budgets were unlimited, cars were cool, reliable, very expensive, solidly built. Then there was no xenon, then there were no radars and navigation systems. But there was something else, a lot of chrome, a lot of metal, every letter is metal, not plastic, every letter is chrome plated. And by the way, an interesting feature, the hood is opened not by a lever from the interior, not by cable, not by a button, not even by a key. Just walk up to the car. There is a lever here, press it and open it. Now let's see what we have under the hood here. V8 with a volume of 4 and 8/10 of a liter, 300 horsepower. By the way, a very interesting feature that is on the motors is air conditioning. For those years it was really a luxury. And by the way, many will think that this car has a 3-speed automatic. Nothing like that, guys. Here is a 3-speed manual transmission. Well, before I close the hood, I want to tell you one more interesting fact. The Gorky automobile plant, which produced the well-known Gaz 53, borrowed the engine for its truck from Chevrolet. There is exactly the same engine, only a modified air intake and, of course, no air conditioning. Close the hood, let's go for a drive. In short, I get into this wonderful Impala, but driving with such a window is not what we need, so. Guys, that's why we do it like this, and it's much more interesting. Go. It stinks like gas, seriously. Guys, by the way, look, what a feature, you twist the vents. And it opens like this. Generally, the maximum. I see Volodya pumped up his hands a little, right? Yes. Look what a car is going. Look, we're being filmed. Wow. Everyone is filming, everyone is shocked. We ride like stars, but the legs are a little bit tight, damn. This is America, baby. Everyone is not something that turns around, but simply in shock. Damn, she's so soft, for her the roads do not care at all. Here, by the way, air conditioning is installed. I really like this window, the inscription, the glove box. What about instruments? Clock, petrol, speedometer, temperature. And charging the generator, right? And charging the generator. I want to note one point, the generator in this car, according to the instructions, must be lubricated every 1,500 kilometers. I really don't know what to put in it. So, our ceiling is the same as in the Ziguli, only even cooler. One-piece seat, very comfortable. The carpet is just fantastic, such an interesting mirror. These mirrors are not very comfortable, but beautiful. Such cosmetics. Gearbox, guys, 3 gears. The radio is present. The wipers are great at cleaning opposite each other, guys, not like in other old cars in one direction, but like in big buses. There is certainly a lot of space here. Well, like in big expensive garages, a bunch of keys with tags, because people don't even know what they have. Rich life, that's what it is. Well, we have moved to our new location, and before continuing our review, please comment what this emblem means on the side of the car. Please write in the comments. Look, we drove with the driver, we drove for 40 minutes, and now I will share with you my emotions and the conclusion that I made during the 40 minutes of the ride in the passenger seat. The car is very soft, 1. The car is hard to steer, 2. And it's hard to slow down, 3. But it should be so, guys, after all, this is the 60th year. Accelerates quite well for those years. The delay, of course, on the gas pedal is generally just crazy, probably half a minute you have to wait until something happens. But, in general, V8 in almost 5 liters of volume makes itself felt. I propose to move to the salon and show you a few features of this car. First of all, guys, there are no 3-point seat belts here. Here are the straps. The seats are solid, both front and rear, although there is already such a side backrest, which, you see, if necessary, it reclines. By the way, guys, it leans back at an angle of 45 degrees, you see, it doesn't roll off smoothly, but with a slight tilt. I was just surprised by the air conditioner. Very cool wind. 3-speed gearbox, 4 gears in total, 1 reverse and 3 forward. Definitely missing at least 1 gear, need at least 1 more. And here there is a handle, when you turn it, this window turns, it looks very stylish. It's very convenient and a bit complicated in a nice way. Basically, that's all we have. I am now getting behind the wheel, I want to drive this car and share my emotions, but already as a driver. Go. Let's try to start. I think it will work the first time. Hold out the clutch. So guys, in short, I'm twitching a little. But in general, it turned out, it never even stalled. Now we will go on the highway, it is very pleasant to go. By the way, Momo's steering wheel, I really like this style. It's a very interesting thing. I feel like a pimp selling old butterflies. Shit, how am I supposed to get out here? Cool, lucky, look. Damn, we almost hit that curve. Difficult to shift into gear. Yes, turn signal. Damn, I'm going to the doctor. I really like. Is it cool here, friend?
It's fucking cool here.
Switching to the third. I hold the Momo steering wheel firmly. Tires are very serious, 165. We named her Lisa, and for a reason. Guys, write in the comments why Lisa and not Josephine, right? And I really like it, and I also really like this feature. And when you said, can you drive at the same speed? Look. You know, yes it pulsates. I generally hold this steering wheel with 1 finger, I don't even have to hold it. Damn, look at the backlash, damn it. You buy a Maybach. Even white, and you'll get less eyes than those red thongs, right? That's it. Honestly, there is such a response to the steering wheel, look. But the seats are very comfortable. Really, dude, far away. Let's press the gas to the floor now, just look at the dynamics. You should probably take a picture of the speedometer, right? That's it, press the gas to the floor, guys. 3rd gear. God, she's breaking out. I'm shocked. 40 miles.
Do you know that there is another version, called Sport SS?
Isn't this a sport? How can it be more sporty? Guys, the owner of this car appears in the frame, his name is Andre. Andre, hello.
Hello.
Andre, tell me, why Chevrolet Impala, why America?
Well, it's a classic car, 60th year. She is in the culture of America, the country in which I lived for 15 years, which means a lot to me. She first became a cult among the guys of the 60s, musicians, poets. And in the 80s, 85ths, it was this model, the 65th year, the 67th year, that became very important for the history and culture of hip-hop. And all those West Coast hip-hop videos of America were often filmed in these cars. And I always really liked her.
That is, in your collection or your desires for the purchase of some next car, do you consider only the American auto industry?
Yes, yes. Classical America fascinates and enlivens me. I love it. I know I'm about to say something that's probably an unacceptable thing for Chevrolet lovers, but I'm looking at the 67 Mustang as the next one. Don't hit me, guys. But I also want red. I also want white stripes. Well, because this is a dream car.
That is, you know exactly what you want, and you know exactly what you're going to get. I know that they have already found such a car for you. It's in America. You've already agreed on the price. You're doing well.
Yes, a cool friend. He collects them. He has a full garage. He restores them for me, gives me a choice.
How much does such a car cost, and how much does it cost to maintain it per year? Approximately.
I got it for about $50,000 in the States with shipping. Here I get gas, change the oil seals, change the oil once a year. Well, here it comes out to me with a garage, $700 to $800 a year.
Are we talking about running 200 kilometers a year? Yes. Or not?
Yes, 200 kilometers a year. Well, on the weekends, ride along the embankment, wave your hand. My kids love to ride here, waving. Take pictures, ride the kids. Well, for fun.
I was very surprised that this car is very much paid attention to. Guys, I've driven a lot of supercars, McLaren, Ferrari, Porsche. People don't look at them that way. This car just catches everyone's eye. It has one drawback. If you just want to disappear somewhere for a certain period of time, it is very difficult to do it on this car.
Yes, I do not close the doors here. I think it will be easy to find. Yes, and, of course, yes, parallel parking. Do not try to do it in it. Park in parallel on the street. You will get tired.
I have one last question. Tell me, do they value these cars in America in general? What is the market for these cars? And what is their cost? And what is the prospect for such cars?
Well, look, that's a cool question. Because look, the fact is, the classics in the original. They changed the gas tank, everything else in the original. The fact is, they don't make them anymore. So every year some car rusts, some dies, some crashes, there are fewer of them. And these are classics. So we see a small trend, but by 3 to 5% a year, such cars are growing in price.
That is, guys, in general, a good investment. At least you will not lose your money. Because Andre usually drives a BMW X5. We know what it's like to buy a car for $80,000, and in 3 years to sell it for $40,000 to dealers. This is a very interesting story, but it does not apply to this car. That's all. Serdjio and Dima were with you. The mirrors are uncomfortable, especially this right one. I do not know why it is there. I don't even know. Honestly, there was a pit, but I was afraid to even move the wheel. I fly on a gas engine. I fly to the doctor, because I want to. God, I need this mirror. You know, I'm used to having such a rear end in my Porsche, yes. What I have in R8 is the same, yes. And it's just a flat board. A flat board, you know, like a deck. Wait, damn, man, there's something with the brakes. I'm telling you. I'm used to the fact that, hell, there is someone there, it should work. And there's no one there.
This is not an Audi R8 for you.
R8, R8 V10, V10. 911, 905.
Damn, it's your knowledge of English that's strong, damn. I have about the same. Rubric key.
Rubric key, well.
Powerfully.
I suggest we begin. They tried to go around us, but there was no way. Oh, how well we're going. And Jaguar is pulling ahead. Hello world. Serdjio is with you, and today will be the shortest possible introduction. Meet Jaguar F-Type. It's February. We have a convertible. It has 350 horsepower under the hood, and today we're going to talk about that car. You may ask why we took this car. Here's why. We want to dilute the compact powerful convertibles, which are presented in our market brands Mercedes and BMW, well as Audi with its TT. And now Jaguar enters the fray. They released this model Jaguar F-Type, and today we are going to talk about this particular car. And now a little bit of history. We are looking at Jaguar, and this brand has been experiencing quite a lot of financial difficulties for the last 10-15 years. In order to get out of the crisis, they had to come up with a car that would be accessible to a large number of people. Such a car was Jaguar F-Type. It is a front-engine roadster at an adequate price. The minimum engine here is 3 liters, the maximum engine here is 5 liters. All engines are supercharged. In front of us is a car with 350 horsepower, which is the lowest step in the line of this model. The next motor is 385 horsepower, the next motors are V8. They are 490 horsepower and 550. This was the top model of the car that is now in front of us. Today I got behind the wheel of this car for the first time in my life. What immediately caught my eye was the enormous, simply enormous hood. There it is. Look at the size of that. It seems just endless, even though the motor is only V6. This hood is the manufacturer's tribute to its style. And the result is very good. The rear of the car is made in the new style Jaguar, is quite narrow headlights and in the center double exhaust pipe. How to tell the difference between V6 and V8? When the exhaust pipe is in the center of the bumper, it's V6. When the exhaust pipes are on the sides, it's V8. In this car, I really like these retractable handles. They are fantastic, very comfortable, very nice and stylish. When they automatically open, you can see the inscription here Jaguar. I understand that I'm a pretty spoiled guy, but it's little details like this that really get me. And there are a lot of them in this car. We'll talk more about the air ducts that come out of the center console, but now let's move on. What interesting features do you have in this Jaguar? At the moment, the thing I like most about it is its bowl-like cockpit. It's not just a seat. It used to be said that the best driver's seat was BMW 3rd series of different generations. I think it's at least as good here. I also really like these air ducts. I'm going to close them now. See, they come down. It's a feature Jaguar, a very cool invention. And in general, the element is useless, but very beautiful. If you want to surprise your passenger, you can lift them up. Here are the air ducts coming out of nowhere again, very cool. All the materials are of high quality. Of course, not Porsche, there, the quality will probably be a little better, but here too, everything is very good. For my money it's not bad at all. Everything is made very well. I really like the gear selector, it's just incredibly cool. In general, the entire interior is very stylish. This car is prestigious, beautiful, and also rare. I love rare cars and I don't like cars that are 3 of each at the same light. I like the car to be rare. In terms of driving, the car behaves very well on the road. I would even add a little more comfort to it, because, in principle, a convertible is not a sports car, with a bias towards some results. By the way, I've just overtaken our cameraman. I would like to say that the car has very cool pops when you drop the gas. I like it. It's all factory, it looks fantastic. The feeling of the car is very pleasant. Now let's talk about the exterior and interior of this car. Guys, the interior is fantastic, I like it, and I've seen quite a few cars. The torpedo is covered with leather. By the way, a very comfortable handle for the passenger. When he will be driven quickly in this car, he will have something to hold on to. When I opened the hood the first time, I did not pay attention, but then I really liked this point. It's exactly the same at R8. The hood is also the wings. This is the prerogative of sports supercars, cool and powerful. You can even see a piece of the fender, it looks really cool. A very massive piece, but actually very light. Let me remind you, this car is all made of aluminum. The hood closes quite interestingly, guys, basically like in the old BMW. The trunk is quite roomy, there are different niches. Let's take a look at what's in there. Water, some papers, 0W40 oil, probably leaking a little bit. I look at the muffler though, and I see it's clean. Here we have a spoiler that automatically rises at a certain speed. For example, when that speed is above 120 km per hour, it rises, and when the speed starts to decrease, it folds itself. This is a curtain. What's it for, you ask? It's wobbly. Yeah, so we buttoned it up. Thanks to this curtain, there are no gusts of wind. I've had several convertibles. It's very uncomfortable to drive without it. My head is a nightmare. Everything is dusty and dirty. So, this trace element helps a lot. The first time I saw it was at Honda S2000, I think it had glass installed there. Lately all the manufacturers have switched to different touchscreens and touchpads. I think that all this is nonsense. In some 5 or 7 years, buttons will come at an extra cost. You'll remember my words later, that's exactly what will happen. By the way, interesting button. I'm pretty sure that's the glove compartment. It is. By the way, it's electrically operated, guys. Everything is electrically operated, not cheap. The steering wheel is basic, it could be nicer. Not a bad steering wheel, but let's just say it can't compete with the steering wheels in Audi and Mercedes. This car is not exceptionally sporty, and again, we are looking at the most basic model with 350 horsepower. If we take the 550 horsepower model, it will be much more dynamic. In any case, 5 2/10 of a second is now normal for a base car. Guys, what can I say about this car? Emotions from driving just fire. The car is easy to drive, holds the road well and looks very charismatic. That is, this car meets all modern requirements. And how it drives, we will check later. And now we're moving on to the race. It's evening, and that means it's time for our traditional racing column. We couldn't find a rival for our Jaguar, so I turned to my Instagram, made a post, and a lot of people responded. We chose 4. All the cars are rear-wheel drive, with automatic transmission, like ours Jaguar, and all have power from 350 to 380 horsepower. That is, the conditions are equal. Let's get acquainted. We have Porsche, he's in almost every one of our videos, so we get to know the owner.
My name is Kirill. This is my Porsche 911 Carrera S, 385 power, rear-wheel drive.
We have 2 convertibles BMW 335. What's your name?
I'm Dima. It's BMW 335D, Stage 1, about 350 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, 6-speed automatic.
I think it will compete. One more BMW 335. What's your name?
Kolia, 335, gasoline, stage 1, about 340 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, automatic.
By the way, the dirtiest car in our review.
From work.
Especially for you. I'm not a fan of Americans, but I couldn't miss this car. Who's that?
Alexander. This is Dodge Challenger. 375 horsepower, 8-speed automatic, rear-wheel drive.
This is the car with the biggest motor. I want to remind you that the first 3 cars, Challenger and 2 BMW, are very heavy. They weigh almost 2 tons each. I'm betting on Porsche. It's technological, and it's basically my love, you know that. I suggest we get started.
1, 2, 3.
I lost to all of you.
1, 2, 3.
They tried to outsmart us, but no such luck. Oh, how well we're going. Just a little more, and Jaguar takes the lead. There will now be a race with 2 BMW. Diesel and gasoline. Both are stage 1, so there are 3 convertibles in the race now. Let's see who wins. 1, 2, 3. D35 is leaving. The guy will outrun us all. Sorry, brother, it's Jaguar.
1, 2, 3.
Jaguar. Almost straight, almost steady. Jaguar. Jaguar. How could that be? In short, guys, we're done. Everything is cool. All the cars are struggling, very close together, but still some of them are a little bit faster, the other a little bit slower, and how much and how, we'll tell you now. We compared our rivals, and to my surprise, our Jaguar lost just about everything. It lost Porsche 911, it lost BMW 335 on gasoline and even diesel BMW, although very slightly, and to my surprise, it even lost Dodge Challenger, but not because it was the slowest, but because it was the most beautiful. And with you were Serdjio and Diamond Chick. Hello everyone from Serdjio, and today we have on review not just Cayenne, but the most expensive Cayenne, sold in the CIS countries in the entire history of Porsche, brand, 348,000 euros. Meet Cayenne Turbo S. Believe me, we don't have simple cars on the channel. I am an avid fan of the brand Porsche, and you know, our channel had a lot of cars of this brand. What's so unusual? Cayenne Turbo S, 575 horsepower, 4 seconds from 0 to 100. How about €348,000? This is the most expensive Cayenne ever sold in the former Soviet Union. Porsche. And before starting a review of our Cayenne, first I would like to drive up to the official Porsche service and find out why such money was given in order to tell you more about it. We came to the specialists, to our friends Porsche Kyiv Airport, Bogdan in front of us. Bogdan, hello.
Hello.
Bogdan, tell us why this Porsche costs so much.
One in the world.
Is this car the only one in the world?
Yes, it's a car from the unit Porsche exclusive manufacture. First of all, it is the version Turbo S, the exclusive version. If I'm not mistaken, they were sold only 4 or 5 cars in the whole Ukraine. Also the equipment of the car, the filling, the options that we see before our eyes, which are inside the car, in the interior. There is all that maximum exclusivity, which could be ordered.
In fact, everything that Porsche could give for this model at the time of purchase, in the 15th year, was installed here.
Practically.
Okay, what is Porsche manufacture? Porsche exclusive manufacture is not the usual Porsche.
Yes, this is no ordinary unit Porsche. The Porsche exclusive manufacture division is a separate part, a separate structure Porsche, which deals with exclusive options. By exclusive options, we mean even such a radiator grille. Or, for example, this decorative stitching. In this car it is made in the color acid green, such an acid green color. Also seat centers. In general, this is a separate request that is sent to the manufacturer. And this manufacturer, for his part, thinks through the concept, he proposes options, and they discuss all these points with the client.
I show the first interesting moment. Bogdan, you are going to comment on this. The first thing I did when I opened this particular passenger door, I said, couldn't they have made the seat adjustment buttons like I had in 911, that is, brushed chrome? To this the owner says to me, yes, they're black, but they're leather. You understand that these buttons are leather. In principle, as well as lamellas of air ducts. Tell me some interesting features of this car.
The first thing that immediately catches your eye is the interior. It's the bright salade centers of the seats, and such a salade effect from the car, the salade design.
Is this some kind of unusual skin?
It's not basic leather, it's softer and higher quality leather and therefore of a completely different grade. As we can see from the condition of the car, that is, the quality.
The car ran almost 90,000, I was surprised. Guys, I'm a fan of BMW too. I like the brand BMW, of course, I'm a fan of Porsche too. But as they say in my language on my channel, BMW is still a long way from the quality of Porsche, especially BMW M series. Especially BMW M3 in the latest body, with their bucket seats. It's just awful, it's just junk and incredible shit. The condition of the car with the mileage of 2,000 kilometers, guys, it just sucks. People were cheated. I feel sorry for them. I think next time you choose Porsche 911. Several thousand kilometers, and the seats are damaged, huge cracks everywhere. Bogdan, tell me why it's so expensive.
Yes.
Brake system.
Carbon ceramic.
I see. How much did this option cost approximately?
4,000.
Euros?
Yes, for the turbo kit.
Inexpensive. Many people think that this is a marker painted special stripe on the discs. Is this the original?
This is the original, made by exclusive manufacturer.
Now you guys understand where the fashion for these rims came from. Porsche sets the trend for all car markets. Are the rims a special order or not?
These are classic wheels for Porsche and Cayenne as well. Rims of this design are now offered in all cars. I wouldn't say it's a special order, but it's made for exclusive manufacture.
The maximum set Turbo S cost about 250,000, the maximum set, right?
No.
No? Just a pretty good turbo kit?
Yes, let's say so.
What's another 100,000 for?
We're not going to take into account carbon ceramic and Burmester audio system A. We're not even going to take into account the entertainment systems for the rear passengers, that is, the rear displays. For the most part, everything else is exactly an exclusive from exclusive manufacturer. That is the color of the stitching, seat trim, seat control console trim and steering column, the colors of the interior as a whole. Considering all these features, we already understand what this car is worth. Porsche has no goal of differentiating between customers who buy Turbo S and those who buy Cayenne and with the base engine, in terms of paint and materials. It's a sport design. We can see that from the wheel arch extenders and side skirts, as well as the front and rear bumper of a different design. But due to the fact that there is a different engine, there is a sports exhaust system, the car sounds different, it sounds very cheerful.
2 final questions. Question number 1. Does the car have an extended warranty or maybe some extended warranty due to the fact that the car is so expensive and exclusive, or is it a basic car in fact in service?
It's not a base car, but the warranty is offered for 15 years, just like any official Porsche.
Guys, only Porsche offers a 15-year extended warranty, thanks for saying that. And if I buy myself a fresh 911 model, or Panamera, or maybe even a brand new Taycan, of course, it will have an extended warranty. Guys, this is not advertising integration, these are our friends. I suggest we move inside. We have already been brewed tea, and we will see what is Porsche exclusive in your configuration room.
Yes.
Go. Guys, we're already inside the car dealership Porsche Kiev Aeroport, in the configuration room where the cars are created. Customers come to buy a car for 150,000, but end up paying the full 200,000. Bogdan, surprise us.
We see what we can offer the client. What the client can individualize his car, make it stand out among the gray mass of cars in Kiev, Ukraine, or even in the whole world. Despite what we see here, that is, the options and colors we see here are not Porsche exclusive manufacture.
There's practically nothing of what's in our car here.
Yes.
I mean, although there's a bunch of stuff here, look at how many colors and stuff, leather upholstery, different handles, and you can even write your personal words on the sills that will glow, whatever you order. That is, it turns out that Porsche exclusive manufacture is such an exclusive product that nothing is even presented here.
Almost. In fact, it's handmade. When everything is stitched by hand, the color of the stitching is selected, the color of the leather is selected, and the quality of the leather is also selected. Because leather from Porsche exclusive manufacture is not ordinary, it is more durable, it is softer, it is more durable and longer lasting.
I'm looking at the leather upholstery available here, there are different ones. I asked if there is leather available here that is used in our car. I think this leather is very soft, and you said no, this leather is tougher than the leather we have in our car. I understand correctly. The car is created and is no longer remade, it is created at once, because at Alpina, for example, the interior is re-stitched. They take the car BMW, bring it to their factory, disassemble the interior BMW, re-stitch it and put their own interior. Is it different here?
Differently.
How is it produced? Is it a separate line or what?
Let's put it this way. Let's start specifically with the ordering process. The actions themselves are always discussed with clients, that is, we have the usual price list and we have the client's wishes. Client's wishes are separate lines, which are prescribed and sent to exclusive manufacturer. Further, exclusive manufacturer confirm what can be done, and what on the contrary do not advise to do. And so we come to a consensus with the client and decide to order the car.
There are situations where people at Porsche, in the Porsche representative office can say, "We're not going to do that, red and orange don't go well together," for example. Do you have these situations?
Of course, that is, we understand and advise the client, offering pictures so that the client himself understands that this is really a bad combination and there will be no beauty.
What can't be combined with what? Roughly tell me exactly what combinations can't be ordered. Wood with red carbon.
Of course not.
Yeah, tell me about ordering a car. The man came and wants an exclusive, then what?
We send a request, write out all the exclusive options that interest the client, we get confirmation from exclusive manufacturer, get the cost, agree it with the client, all look at the computer in the 3D design. The model is displayed at 360 degrees, we look with the customer, choose what we want or don't want, and then we order. The manufacturing process is different. This machine knows how to tick off exclusive manufacturer. We understand that this is an exclusive order, and Porsche, as a manufacturer, also understands that. It's a different approach to shaping the car, the body, all the parts.
A customer ordered such a car. Approximately how long it is made compared to a regular car?
About 2 or 3 months longer.
That is, if a normal machine is done 2 to 4 months, approximately, taking into account delays and quarantines, maybe faster, maybe longer, that is, you have to wait from 2 to 4 months. This car to wait at least 6 months?
Right.
Or longer. Are people willing to wait?
They agree.
How many cars Porsche exclusive do you sell a year? Or maybe it's one car a year, or once every 2 years?
If we are talking about this particular Cayenne, now their sales have dropped significantly. Now there is more demand for our sports cars. The 911th model, or the 718th. And such a car is one per year, with some kind of limited version.
Do you understand what kind of car this is? We don't consider ordinary cars. It's not an ordinary Cayenne and it's not Volkswagen Touareg. Guys, this car is expensive, exclusive and very rare, because, according to our information, this car was the most expensive Cayenne not just in Ukraine, but in the whole CIS, for the whole history Porsche on the territory of the independent CIS states, as they say. I don't even know how to say it so you don't laugh. This is such a rare car. It's not even about the price or the power. The car is not very fast. There are cars coming today that can outrun this Cayenne. The thing is, when you sit down or drive or touch something that's produced once a year, it's... And how many cars on average do you sell a year? 500 or 1,000?
If all over Ukraine, then up to 500 cars.
Out of 500 cars, this is one diamond, roughly speaking. This is very cool.
Yes.
And if we talk about Cayenne, in the entire history of the brand Porsche in Ukraine, probably only one car was assembled. Most of the demand is either Panamera, or the 911th model.
To your own personality. Tailor-made. In an extraordinary place. At Porsche Exclusive Manufaktur.
The car was bought 4.5 years ago by my father. It is our family car, and the car was very rarely used. In 4 years it has covered only 70,000 kilometers, of which 30,000 in the last year. This car has old features Porsche, that are not preserved in the new models. It's a control that at one point warns you that you might go off the track, but at the same time always supports the driver and you're 100% confident in the car. Here is an insane exhaust motor, the sound of which can compete with Mercedes G-Class 63rd series with the engine volume of 5.5 liters. And there is nothing to compare it to BMW, because the engine sound is much worse there. You just have to hear the sound in this car, especially you have to hear it when the engine is running between 4 and 6,000 RPM. It has the biggest brake discs, the biggest ceramic system possible. It saves in all situations, but with the previous warm-up, there are 10 pistons, a 430 or 435 mm brake disc. This is a replacement Porsche Panamera 18th year. New cars are made for girls, they are made for ladies who don't know how to drive them, who want to drive an expensive and fast car, but can't yet. That's why the new cars were created for them. And it's old school, you sit down, you press the pedal, and you're blown away and immediately squeezed into the seat. All Porsche Cayenne of this model have a problem with the panoramic roof, and there is nothing you can do about it. If you want to drive with a nice view, you have no options. The roof creaks, but it only creaks when folded. If you're driving in the summer with the sunroof open, you're fine, but if you're driving on some rough surface, you start to get the roof holder squeaking. It's uncomfortable and you have to change the whole panoramic roof, but I don't see the point. It's not repairable in any way, it just occurs over time. Other disadvantages of the cabin. In addition to the panoramic roof, there is not a very good all-around camera, but this is rather an interface. The old multimedia system, the old cameras, the old quality, it's not cool in 2021, but it's enough in all conditions. There is another nuance that applies to carbon ceramic, it squeaks until it warms up. But when the carbon ceramic is heated, it will stop the car at any second, at any speed.
The rubric, bets. Vlad, what are your bets?
570.
What does the second Vlad think?
560.
There's 575 horsepower in a stock car. What do you say?
580.
580. I say the car will show 595 horsepower, and now we'll see which of us is right. We took measurements of our expensive car, and what do you think? It's one of the few cars this year that surprised, but in a very different way. Usually manufacturers of modern cars with turbo engines underestimate the power. With Cayenne the situation is different, and Vlad told us, and several other people confirmed that at Cayenne they overestimate the power. As a result,
532 horsepower and 751 Newton torque.
The torque is good. Of course, our Vlad almost guessed the result. Yes. Please tell me how much power can be increased in this car, on stage 1, on stage 2. How much will it cost and what needs to be done for this?
For stage 1 you have to do a regular firmware, and we'll add 70 horsepower and 150 torque.
70 horsepower and 150 torque. What's the price?
For you or?
Not for me, for Cayenne.
800 euros.
800 euros. Is this high-quality firmware close to the original?
It's not close to the original firmware, it's optimizing and customizing the firmware that's already there, we're adjusting it.
Will it be done in a quality manner?
Of course.
Okay, stage 2.
We need to put a downpipe.
Fine. Price for stage 2?
1,500 euros, and we get about 40 more horsepower, and probably 50 more torque. But we're saying that plus 50 torque and 40 horsepower will be at the higher end of the range, and the difference will be greater at the lower end. That is, if we compare the stage 1 and stage 2 graphs, then it will inflate more on the lower indicators, and a little on the upper indicators.
That is, our curve will rise earlier and be flatter.
After stage 2,
it's for about 1,500 euros. That's an adequate price, you'll agree. We get plus 100 horsepower and plus 200 torque, roughly. A lot, about 650 horsepower and 900 torque are very good numbers. The car accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers in 4 seconds. Your predictions, how many seconds from 0 to 100? According to the passport, the car accelerates in 4 seconds.
4.3 seconds.
4.3?
Yes.
I, as an optimist, will say that the car will accelerate to 100 kilometers in 4 seconds, and you write in the comments your prediction. In fact, there are some interesting competitors ready for this car today. We'll see who comes, because they are afraid of this car. That's it, let's go to the race. Now on to your favorite column, racing. There will be some interesting cars to race today. It's BMW X my wife's 4, which will obviously just lose. Then the owner came Subaru, 1377 horsepower and a manual transmission. He often comes to our races, thank him very much. And, of course, Tesla Model X is the most interesting car. I think they will go with Porsche about the same. Enough talk, let's go to the race. Porsche just ate BMW.
Very confident.
1, 2, 3. $150, $160, $170, space. 1, 2, 3. Wow, how smooth is the car going? It fails on gear shifting. Oh, wow. Everyone we overtook just flew away. 1, 2, 3.
Subaru takes a little longer to warm up.
1, 2, 3. How cool is that? Subaru fights great. But the manual transmission doesn't give you a chance. 3-0. 3 goals. As they say, 3 clean wins.
I was very surprised Subaru, he rides well.
It has a manual transmission.
If it had an automatic transmission, it would go a lot better.
Maybe.
It slows down a lot.
1, 2, 3. Are you seriously? Did you really go?
Yeah.
That's it, brother. 1, 2, 3.
Good answer. Great, that was awesome.
Great, man. Shit, that was a very cool run, actually. Let's turn around here, and I think we should try it again. You pressed something wrong there. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3.
At this speed, acceleration is great.
Yes, yes. 195 on the bend. 1, 2, 3.
That's it. It's hard after 140.
Yes, yes.
Almost.
Guys, here we finished our rival races, and the results are very interesting. Of course, my wife's BMW lost as expected. 360 horsepower can't compete against a twin-turbo V8. Now we have Forester, and Forester drove much better, but lost out when shifting because of the manual transmission. The owner often appears on our channel, does not miss any races, 1,377 horsepower in the car, and the competition was quite tough. The most interesting race was, of course, with Tesla Model X. The owner of Tesla was about half an hour or almost an hour late. And not in vain we waited for him. Very interesting and difficult races. Of course, Cayenne pulls ahead from the spot, but the races are really cool. Several races, and from 40 and 60 km per hour to 150 Tesla is struggling. And that's it for us. Serdjio was with you. Autumn Kiev, Ukraine, let's go. My wife doesn't drive this car very fast. We will test the car, do acceleration from 0 to 100, and from 100 to 200. We will measure the values on a dynamometer, then we will install new firmware on the car and measure the new characteristics, and we'll have a race.
1, 2, 3.
A delightful contender will be racing today, a 21st-year car with powerful features, very rare on our roads. It costs over $100,000 and looks incredible. Hi, it's Serdjio. I've never taken this long to prepare for a review. It took me a year to prepare for this video. And today we're reviewing BMW X4 M40i, my wife's car. Let me tell you why we chose BMW X4. We considered several options. I offered my wife both Audi and Mercedes, but she said, "No, I want exactly BMW." She used to own a BMW 3E90, she really liked it. My wife drove it for 5 years, and that's how she became a fan BMW. Appetites grow with food. We decided to buy a car with a 3-liter motor, and then an even more powerful one, and that's how we got to $40,000. The car turned out to be very cool, low mileage, official paperwork, no damage, car in good condition. We had maintenance done, a couple of suspension items tweaked, and roughly speaking, invested in a beauty. I mean, it's a detailing, protective films, some black accents, a little bit of finishing touches on the bodywork, and that's all. We did a little bit of styling, nothing else. Speaking of pros, Guys, the car has a very beautiful body. I was generally against these models, but when I saw this M, it is a very beautiful car. The best thing about this car is of course its color and maximum equipment. It has a very cool package. There are cool LED optics, LED fog lights too. The car's light is fabulous. The back is also LED, a lot of light. The modern design looks very fresh. Many people even confuse this body with the newer one. In the range up to 40,000. This is a cool parquet. It is very cool, modern, fast and maneuverable. A few words about maneuverability, guys, there is a sport suspension and, of course, there are adaptive shock absorbers. X6 is a pretty big car for a girl. For me X6 is fine, considering my weight. And X4 is a chic size altogether, it's not too big and not too small. This one is just the right size, it looks pretty solid, yet it's very compact. In fact, it's been more than 6 months, almost a year, and the car has been wrapped in armor film. We put a tuned grille, of course, mirror covers, made black accents all over the body. And even, by the way, they sealed such wheel arches. Of course we painted this grille black, it looks very nice. There are some changes on the rear of the car as well. We added a black spoiler, it looks cool, gloss black. And at the back we repainted the gray diffuser to black. Guys, I'm sorry for some extraneous noises, it's just a big workshop and a lot of people work. We already stopped all production. We're not trying to change the style, we're just adding some touches, some accents, to give some style and some personality and beauty. Of course, we tinted the taillights a bit. The badge BMW was in a silver frame, we, of course, painted it in gloss black. This spoiler is actually quite difficult to choose. They are all made in China or Taiwan, and all are crooked. We chose the manufacturer and looked at the quality of workmanship. It looks very cool, very similar to the original, although the original spoiler for this body did not exist. And, of course, the rear diffuser in black gloss looks cosmic. The exhaust nozzle, we are not going to change it, it sounds very cool. I'll show you all this later. The rear nozzles of 85 mm will have exactly the same look, but they will be 100 mm in diameter. We kept the original nameplates, they look fantastic, that's the anodized aluminum. Cool color, I really like it. Now let's take a look at the interior. By the way, let's do one take. Look at this beauty standing here. BMW and BMW, blue and blue. It just looks fantastic. We left this motorcycle here on purpose. I think it's a cool accessory, a cool addition, and it would look cool in some garage in a private home. Wouldn't you agree with me? They're different, they're two philosophies, but they complement each other, don't they? What can you say about the interior? Guys, there are almost no changes. I specifically chose a car with this interior, black color. Although I like more beige interior, but I chose black. And what I liked the most is the textile center here, and the leather sidewalls, it looks cool. Not cold in winter, and not hot in summer. The seats are heated. And that's what really surprised me. Here with such a rich and cool equipment, the car has Ditronics, lane keeping, navigation. Absolutely everything is present here, but there is a mechanical adjustment of absolutely all seats. Of course, we have pads on the thresholds, X4 M40i, and this indicates that there is a rather cool motor here. M55, it is a motor of the same modification with 360 horsepower, which is installed in BMW M2. And in BMW M2 competition they install the engine S55. All elements are covered with shadowline, this is a complete package. Guys, the wheels look great, these are different wide 20s. As far as I remember, the front wheels are 245, 40, R20. And the rear is 275, 35, R20. Inside, we'll show you some more interior highlights, and then I'll open the hood and talk about the engine after all. The interior is cool, I really like it, but I don't like the seats. I like their texture and look, but for me they are uncomfortable and small. Here the seats are like those in BMW 3rd Series, and for me 3rd Series seats have always been too small, I don't fit. Lots of black gloss on Torpedo, looks cool, but it gets dirty easily and needs to be cleaned up. Here is the M steering wheel, the original M steering wheel with paddles, all the icons, everything as it should be. NBT Evo, at the time, for the 17th year, it was the top-of-the-line multimedia system, the 6th generation of multimedia from BMW. Everything looks cool, just gorgeous graphics. As for the music, the acoustics are good as Harman Kardon. Subwoofer sounds good, a bunch of speakers, but CarPlay in the car is not. In 17 not yet put CarPlay in cars, but we will do it ourselves soon. Separate terminal, but nothing very interesting in the multimedia. By the way, there is such an interesting feature, in case anyone didn't know. Look, almost all BMW have such keys from 1 to 8, or up to 6, and there is such a strip on the bottom. You run your finger along this strip and lightly touch the buttons, and they work. It looks very cool, it has been used for a long time in BMW. Here is the maximum dashboard. Then there were no LED versions, it is half LED, it looks good. The dashboard reconfigures the backlight itself. When it's light, it's white, when it's dark, it's red. It's the classic amber color backlighting of all BMW for so many years now. I want to install a heated steering wheel here, I think this feature is very cool. And here's more from the interesting points. There's a cool cruise control, it's adaptive, it can even follow the car in front. The auto darkening mirror, of course, the black ceiling, all the delights of the model. There are no handles anywhere, front or back. No side handles. Automatic handbrake, downhill assist, Parktronic, many modes, very convenient to choose. Sport, Sport Plus, Eco Pro and other modes. Such an automatic transmission selector, in principle, this has long been used as a basic set, the maximum for this body. I know that the BMW 7th series has touch versions and, of course, with a black sapphire crystal. Here is the usual plastic one, that's all. Before we open the hood and talk about the technical characteristics of the car, I suggest opening the trunk and there is an interesting feature, let me show it to you. And before shooting, I will tell you about an interesting feature. Here is the BMW, it looks pretty good, it was a normal key for those years. Here are my hands and this function is already here. You'll see in a moment. Here, you can see how it works at BMW. We shot one take on purpose. Guys, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. About the trunk. It's a cool trunk. The trunk has guide rails, things like that, and the trunk has 4 of these 4 fasteners, which you can basically use as hooks. You set them up, and you stretch the grid behind them, and everything is nice and wonderful. This is available. What else should a man have in his trunk? Well, of course this oil. There are some handy niches here. Here's a cool shelf that comes off in a split second. There you go. And you can basically do whatever you want. Here, this is how it's installed. There's a curtain installed like this, to the top of the glass, here. The trunk is electric, so that's what it looks like. In principle, the trunk has never caused us any problems, there were no questions. The engine is clean, everything is perfect. The car now has about 80,000 miles on it, when I bought it it was about 70. My spouse has driven about 10,000 in 1 year. 360 horsepower as standard, 8-speed gearbox, all-wheel drive X-Drive from BMW. Acceleration from 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds. Speaking of the features of this car, guys, one big turbo, cool intake, everything is very nicely engineered here. This motor still has potential, we can get 480 horsepower on stage 2, but we're only going to do stage 1. I think we'll get about 410 horsepower. Write in the comments how much power you think the car will have after stage 1. The cigarette lighter terminals are there too, and the body VIN number is in such a place that it will bend if the car is slightly damaged. A feature of BMW X4 and X3 is that these elements with a VIN code are often ordered not new, and the body number is duplicated there. So if you choose such a car and there is a duplicated code, it does not mean that the car is rebuilt or that the car has been fully repaired, just that these cars have a very unique body VIN number, and it is easily damaged. The motor can handle high temperatures. We already upgraded the thermostat under the oil, and now the oil warms up a little less. Generally speaking, why do BMW make the oil temperature very high? In order to reduce thermal gaps, and this is all done for power and economy. We don't need these super parameters for economy, so we lowered the oil temperature a little bit, in order to prolong the life of the oil and it will retain its functions longer. Now I'm putting the hood down and I think I need to take this car for a ride. Guys, we came to see our friends, the company upstage. Vlad, hello.
Hello.
Vlad, I brought my wife's car. We measured different cars, drove different cars. By the way, there were several of my cars here. Vlad and I met when I was testing mine here. Porsche. Vlad, finally, a whole year I have been getting to know this car and now we are doing a big review. We have taken all the data on the car, acceleration from 100 to 200. Now we are measuring the power in the stock car. Let's see what data we get. And you'll already give your predictions for stage 1, just stage 1. We're not cutting out the catalytic converters, it's my wife's request not to remove anything in the car. My wife has enough power in this car, but I've convinced her she needs more. You will say the predictions for stage 1, 2 and 3.
Okay, good.
Guys, check out the video on how the car is measured, and we'll literally show you the result in a few seconds. Vlad, look, we measured our car. We got 360 horsepower in the stock car. We didn't make any assumptions with you, although I thought, frankly, that we would get 370, and I was a little wrong. Comment.
The car showed 362 horsepower and 503 torque. The graph line is absolutely flat. What kind of gasoline?
Gasoline 95 from SoCar.
It looks like it's not bad gasoline, because the car shows its factory parameters and there's no slack in the graph, nothing like that. Torque, up to 6,500 is fine, then worse, but that's quite a lot.
We'll do stage 1 on this car. You said there are several varieties, depending on what you want. Tell me about it.
Well, look, you can make it for 95 gasoline, it'll be a lighter, more stable version. You'd get about 30 horsepower and 50 to 60 torque. Good version for the city, you can use 95 gasoline.
That is, nothing will burn, it will not stink either.
God forbid.
What's the next option?
You can do stage 1 for purely 98th or 100th gasoline, then we don't put in 95th and get another 10 to 15 horsepower.
We'll get an increase of about 50 horsepower, roughly. And we'll get that coveted 400 plus horsepower. About 410 horsepower, depending on the temperature and mood of the car. And turbo motors have their own mood. And how much torque will there be?
About 70 more.
70. That is, we will have almost 600 Newton meters. There, in fact, 573 at best, maybe even less, but probably almost 600. And we choose the maximum stage 1, the maximum possible. We're not going to stage 2 yet. By the way, a lot of smart people say, here you should. Here you should. It turns out the car already owes someone, even though it wasn't bought on credit. They say it should be B58, but here it is N55, Gen 2 or 3, I don't know which generation. More like General 2, M2 first years.
This is a motor from all M2, because on M2's competition was S55, and N55 was on all M2.
Even in last year's models, only S competition had the S55 installed.
Yes.
Okay, already on the next body, M40 was B58, but here is still N55. How much power can you get on stage 2?
With the replacement of the intercooler and downpipe we get up to 440.
By the way, let's go back to prices now. How much is stage 1?
450 euros.
450 euros. Stage 2?
Full stage 2, with intercooler costs 1,400 euros.
Intercooler, downpipe and firmware. Stage 3, and what does it include?
There are options here, in any case, replacing the turbine, replacing the intercooler and downpipe. The price will be, I think, about 4,500.
Stage 1 is 410 horsepower, but how much power is stage 2?
Up to 440.
I see. What about stage 3?
It depends on the fuel, 500 plus. We did it on alcohol and got 510 horsepower.
510 is exactly as much as the next body on the S58 motor in X3M or X4M, but in stock. 510 horsepower, the same power can be achieved here. I'm happy with the schedule, the car still has potential. You see, even turbo engines. If the car is well maintained and serviced, and also beautiful, it will always show its power. Now we are going to improve our car. To do this, we leave it to Vlad for a whole night. Here we have to remove the engine control unit, flash it separately, then install it all. And it's under the intake manifold. We're not ready to wait 4 hours, we'll come in the morning and see the result. It's been almost 24 hours, we've checked the car and the firmware. Everything is beautiful, no rollbacks or other problems. I suggest we go to the monitor and see what happened.
The maximum we got, so that there were no kickbacks, was 421 horsepower and 574 inches of torque.
We got about 60 horsepower and almost 70 Newton meters. This is stage 1 for the 100th gasoline, because we planned the 95th, but decided to make it more powerful for the 100th. And I want to tell you right away, a car is different, two cars never show the same result. Although we once had a situation on our channel when two absolutely different cars, with different engines, on the same measurement, on the same day, showed the same torque. It happened to us.
Yes.
Thank you. Guys, we're moving on. Okay, guys, here comes everyone's favorite section, the section Zaruba. You know, it was hard enough to find a rival for this car, but we did. Because the problem is mass. We wanted to get Mercedes GLC, but not with a 4-liter engine. Audi RSQ5 can't handle it. Therefore, the closest competitor is Porsche Macan 21. GTS, 380 horsepower, 520 torque. Acceleration from 0 to 100 is 4.6 tenths, and BMW is 4.9 tenths. But the car will perform well. I suggest we move on to the competition. The competition will be very interesting, from 60 to 200, and of course from 0 to 200. It's a very interesting discipline. Sasha, you're young, you have such a cool car, did you earn it yourself? Or did you get help?
almost earned it myself.
Good for you, it's not the first time you've competed, thanks for participating. How do you rate your chances?
I think there is a chance, but still BMW has stage 1 and I think it will help her.
The 17th year car, it's older.
I think stage 1 will give a little more power and help BMW win.
And from 0?
I think I have a chance.
You've got a chance. Guys, Porsche is a little weaker, there's a little more than 400 horsepower and almost 600 torque, but Porsche is lighter. And you all know that Porsche goes faster than originally announced. In short, I propose to start the competition, and then summarize the results of the races.
1, 2, 3.
Look, we're being overtaken. Look at the Porsche. Porsche has overtaken us.
1, 2, 3.
Man, that's the wrong gear.
1, 2, 3.
Wow, that feels good. Yes.
1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3.
Man, this is totally unexpected. It's a tantrum. What do you think of this? There's not enough power. Just not enough. Let's go again.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
God, they're so fast. Oh, man. He just crushed us. I thought we could win today. Guys, we are summing up the results of our races. Guys, BMW X lost in all possible starts. From 0 to 200 and from 60 to 200, that is, a total loss. Do you know why? I thought Porsche was much lighter, but after looking at the documentation I read that it is even a few dozen kilos heavier, although it looks much smaller. Sasha, did you expect this outcome?
Honestly, no. When we drove from 60 I did not even think that it would work, especially the car without improvements.
Are you happy now that you have such a car? This X is the most powerful X for those years, and it is with improvements, but you won.
Yes, I'm very happy to own such a car. I've always been happy about it.
Now I really respect Porsche. This car was able to win with less power and more weight. If you thought that for my wife's car I would choose some weak competitors that I would just overtake one by one, nothing like that, guys. We choose only the top fast cars. That's all for now. We've been with you, Serdjio. It's already fall weather in Kiev, so I suggest we take stock. But we still have a little surprise for you. Of course, what do we have left to do? We are left to measure the exhaust. We will evaluate who has the most interesting exhaust. That is, we will record the sound, and you determine in the comments, which exhaust sound you like more. Because the more you put comments, likes, subscriptions to new videos, the more our video will get into recommendations, and there will be more of us. And YouTube will promote our videos even faster and stronger. And that's it for us, Serdjio. Glory to Ukraine. We will win. I suggest we start with Porsche, and then move on to BMW. So, 2 cars. In Porsche Macan GTS the stock exhaust, and in X4 M40i, stage 1 stock exhaust. 2 cars with catalytic converters and original downpipes. Nothing has been changed. Sasha, come on. Do you guys hear that? Sasha, thank you. Guys, the car sounds confident. Now let's see what BMW can do against this, because it has 2 pipes less and they are of a smaller diameter. We'll fix that soon. Now let's listen to the sound of the exhaust X4. Let's go. Guys, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know who to vote for, they're about equal. I really like the sound of the exhaust BMW X my spouse, and I really like the exhaust Porsche. And you write in the comments which one of them won.